Hello everyone, I am Professor Nayan from Department of Information Technology, Parvatibai Kenba Mosi College of Engineering, Vagoli. So we'll start with a different section of this third unit, that is the project scheduling, and we'll go with the measurements, that is the software measurement. So the scheduling of the different engineering activities can be used or are using the different scheduling tools and techniques. So we have two different scheduling tools. One is the PERT, that is a program evaluation and review technique, and second is your critical path method. So both of these scheduling methods are applied in the project development. Both the tools use the data and information which is received from the earlier stages. Okay. So they perform some planning activity from the data which is received from earlier stages, and that activity just include the estimating the efforts, decomposing the product functions, then selecting some suitable process model to the project, then decomposing the task. So we have seen the work breakdown structure in the last session. So the work breakdown structure is little bit related or is concerned with the PERT and the CRM. So by using the work breakdown structure, we are calculating the critical path method for the project, and we are also calculating the PERT, that is a program evaluation and review technique. So these both determine the critical path during the project and estimated time for the individual activity. So how much time the individual activity will require to complete. So both this method will calculate the critical time and the duration of the project and the time estimated for a particular activity or the individual activity, and it also helps in calculating the boundary time. So the detail of this PERT and CRM we will see in the ending section of the unit, because most of the related terms are not seen yet, but this was the intermediate topic in your unit. So we'll just look what is PERT and what is CRM, and calculation part will go with the end, because some terminologies need to be understood before going with the PERT and CRM. So we move to the software measures. So the software measures are nothing but measuring the software. In the easy term, we can say measuring the software. So there are two different ways to measure the software. The first is direct measure. We are direct measuring the software by using the line of code. That is the first one. And the second is the indirect measure. Means we are using the different functionalities. We are using quality, complexity, efficiency, reliability, maintainability, different parameters of the software, different abilities of the software to measure the software. Okay, so that is your indirect measure, and direct measure is the line of code. It is given in the kilo, that is KLOC, that is kilo line of code for a particular function, for a particular project, for a particular model. Okay, so the line of code is always measured in KLOC, that is a kilo line of code. So we have different software matrices for measuring the software. So software matrix is measured of the software characteristics which are countable or measurable. So software matrix are improvement for many reasons. They are including the measuring of the software performances, the planning work items, the measuring productivity, and many uses. So software matrix is used for the different parameter measuring or mapping the different things. The first thing is the software performance. The next is the planning the work items. That is nothing but your planning. Then measuring the productivity, that is your development, measuring your development, and many other uses or many other activities we can say, such as the software matrix is also used for measuring the functionality, measuring the quality, measuring the errors, bugs in the software. So that parameters also can be listed here. So we'll see one by one what are the different types of software matrix. So the first one is the size oriented matrix. So size oriented matrix is the name suggests it measures the size of the software. Okay. It considers the size of the software project. This is simplest way of keeping record of the software development process. Okay. It contains a table. The size oriented matrix contain the table one table contains some multiple software which has been developed previously, and then number of or the size which is required for that particular software. So in the size oriented software, it is simplest way to measure a software containing one table. One table contains the number of list of the software products which are already have been developed, and the list of line of code, we can say the line of code or the size of the particular software, the size of particular project is measured in another column. So likewise we can compare the ongoing model, the ongoing project with the previously developed software project. If some software are having the same quality, or some software is functioning same as we are developing a new software, and that software is also having the same functions which has been previously developed software has. So we are comparing the two softwares which is already previously developed and which is ongoing developed by using the size oriented matrix, using the table which is created under the size oriented matrix. So but unfortunately it is not useful for comparing the software project which is written in a different languages. Suppose one project is written in some Java, or which is using some object oriented programming, and other software is using the functional or the procedure oriented programming like C and other languages. So these two software cannot be compared depend on the line of the code, because each software contains the different each language contains the different parameters, the different functions and different characteristics to proceed to write the software. So the one drawback of this size oriented matrix is you cannot measure the software which has developed in two different languages. Okay. So as suppose we have to measure the errors, so we can create under the size oriented matrix, we can create the errors per kilok, means the numbers of error which are occurred in kilo line of code, or we can also measure the defects per kilok, that is defect which are occurred in kilo line of code, or we can also measure the cost of the software that is occurred per kilo line of code. Okay, so cost per kilo line of code, error per kilo line of code, and defect per kilo line of code. Okay, so this is some intro about the size oriented matrix. Then we next have function oriented matrix. So it focuses on how the functionality of the software is, means how the software is offering some functionalities. Okay, it's totally dependent on the functionality of the software, but the functionality of software cannot be measured directly. As we have seen, there are two measures, direct and indirect. So indirect measures, we have functionalities, qualities, some other factors, some reliability and all that thing, but that cannot be directly measured. So what we have FP, that is the functional point, that is a unit to measure the count of the functionality provided by the product. FP is the unit to measure the count of the functionality provided by that particular product. So they are also useful for comparing the software project which is written in a different languages. Okay, we in function oriented matrix, the FP is the main measure to measure the functions of the particular software. Okay, and FP is nothing but the count of the functionality provided by the particular product. So by using this function oriented matrix, we can also compare the softwares which are written in a different languages. In previously size oriented matrix, we are not comparing the software which are using the different programming language for the development, but in function oriented we are comparing the software which are written in a two different programming languages. Okay, so we have some points under that that are not actually necessary because they have not given in your book. Still we can go through the things. We can also have the errors per FP, defects per FP, that are two matrices to define the errors per function point and defects per function point. Also we have a new measure that is called as a DRE, that is defect removal efficiency. So it is nothing but DRE is equal to E divided by E plus D. So what is D and what is E? So it is the relation that how many defects were found by the end user after delivering a product, D, in relation with the error which are found before delivering the product, E. So we are calculating the defects which are found after delivery and before delivery. This is done in the function oriented matrix. Actually it is not given in the book, but some point of time practically will require some terms. So I have just introduced, I have just point out the term DRE. So you can also write in theoretical that DRE is the defect removal efficiency, which is nothing but the relation between the errors which are occurred after we are handling over the software to the user, means after the delivery, and the relation with the errors which are found before the product is delivered. So we can actually get the efficiency of the defect removal. The next third matrix is object oriented matrix. So the object oriented matrix depends upon the object oriented concepts. So previous parameter used in the conventional software project matrices, that is the FP and LOC, that is the function point and the line of code, are not able to provide the scheduling, some efforts and some adjustments which are required during the project development stage. So what OOM includes, that is the object oriented matrix, include the number of scenario scripts. The number of scenario scripts are nothing but the detailed sequence steps used in the interaction between the user and the product. The second one is the number of key classes. The key classes means the classes which doesn't or which are not depend on any other class, that are the main problem domain. These classes are nothing but the main problem domain, means the statement or the problem domain for which we are developing a software. So these classes contain main problem domain. Then third one is the number of supportive classes. That are supportive classes are nothing but the classes which support these key classes, but they are not including the problem domain. Okay, they are just the supportive class. Suppose take the example of your Java class. Printf is the supportive class. Why? Because the printf class supports the Java to perform to perform the particular class to print the statement. Okay, so the printf class is the supportive library for developing a Java program. And the third one is the average number of supportive classes per key class, that is one class which is having a problem domain and number of supportive classes which are required for that key class. So the average numbers of supportive classes per key class. And number fifth is number of subsystems. So how many modules does the particular software project has. So this is included in the object oriented matrix. So in this session we have seen the scheduling. For the scheduling thing, that is we are using two tools for the scheduling, PERT, and second is the CPM, that is the critical path method. Then we have seen the three software major matrix. The first one is your size oriented, the second one is the function oriented, and third is the object oriented matrix. The first, size oriented, uses the LOC, that is a line of code for measuring the software. Then second, the function oriented uses the function point for measuring the software. So the line of the size oriented matrix, which does not compare two different software project, which has two different programming language used in it. But in function point we are comparing the software project which are having a different programming languages, or which has been developed in different programming languages. And the third one is the object oriented matrices, which uses the object oriented concepts. So in the next session we'll proceed with the estimation part and further. So I hope you have understood the session. If not, you can comment in the comment section, or you can just talk with whenever we are conducting the Zoom session. Thank you.